much for joining me today. We have Mike Brown from Endless Upside, who's going to be kind of giving us a little bit more insight into the job market and the workforce climate that we're seeing during the COVID-19 era. So without further ado, I do want you to kind of introduce yourself just a little bit, and then we'll dive into some questions that I'm sure everybody has on their mind right now.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Alex. So my company, Endless Upside, is focused around everything business and life coaching. My target market is the 20 to 40 age range, up and comers in business, going through career transition, looking for the next level to either leadership or just growth and fulfillment personally and professionally. We focus around putting clients in constant stages of growth and never having them kind of fall off of that trajectory. So I also have 10 or 11 years in the staffing technology space, so a lot of experience moving people through into new careers and new pathways and just making sure they feel fulfilled in their day-to-day lives.
I'm sure a lot of people who are listening, just like myself, they've seen an influx in job postings right now on LinkedIn, on Indeed, on Monster.com. Do you believe that
Sure.
companies are really hiring in mass, as it would seem, considering the current climate? And what do you think their end game is?
Yeah, it's interesting because you do see exactly what you're alluding to, which is an influx of roles and postings out there. From everything I've seen through prior recessions and now, I mean, a lot of times what that really amounts to is clients looking to pipeline their candidates and talent for when they are ready to open up and when they are ready to go. And what they do with that is really what they're doing is they tend to inundate themselves with mass quantities of resumes that they keep in their inboxes. Or if they're staffing firms, a lot of the time they are doing the same thing. They are posting on behalf of their clients and getting candidates so that they can kind of get who they are a little bit, get a flavor of them, and then really when the market does open up, they know them. They have an idea of who they are. If they're doing it the right way, those clients are actually reaching out to these candidates they have interest in and starting that process. If they're not really doing it the right way, they tend to just kind of hold on to the resumes, which doesn't really help either side. But I see it as more of a passive way to attract talent at the moment. There isn't a ton going on right now. I mean, we all see it from the inside. I certainly see it day to day. There's not tons going on. There are certain areas that are hiring that we need, logistics and things to move, either food or other items. But in regards to day to day, outside of healthcare and the mass need we have in that space and logistics with food, there's not a ton going on. Technology keeps companies up and running, but it doesn't have a significant need to propel us forward right now. We're sort of a little bit stagnant. So the long way to get to your question and answer it succinctly is really, I think what they're doing is collecting talent that they think could be right for when it opens back up.
Right, creating kind of like a cushion for themselves. So
Totally.
when the economy does pick back up, they'll be able
Yeah.
to pull from a pretty stable and substantial group of talent. So with that being said, what industries do you think will have the biggest influx of hires after all of these social distancing mandates are over and
Mhm.
after our economy kind of picks back up?
So I see technology, obviously, in the last bunch of years has been the hot button. It's what everyone wants into and what people are into are loving to do. Um, it's going to continue. It stabilizes companies in moments like this. It keeps companies up and running, essentially. It's allowing us all to do what we're doing right now, right? In connecting, staying in touch. Without this, we'd be all totally lost. So it's allowing us to do these sorts of things to keep companies at least afloat. Technology will still propel companies moving forward in the next bunch of years. It's totally a hot button still. It will be a hot button area. But that intersection between health and technology, right in between there, that's a sweet spot that's been heating up the last few years. And you got to think moving forward, we're going to have a bunch of people in these hospitals that weren't there prior, that are sitting home, that might have issues that are popping up because they're not in the hospitals or they're not going to see their doctors. So there will be an influx of people outside of COVID that will now flow into these hospitals. These hospitals will be seeing patients they might not have seen before. As they're seeing these patients, everything that's done in the hospital has a technology component behind it. There's an electronic medical record system behind everything that's touched and used in a hospital that filters the data that patients are providing from their tests, right? That's all got to go somewhere. That's all got to be secured, and that's got to be available for doctors. So really that health tech space, totally going to be a hot space coming out of this. I think, another industry, if we're just going to talk broadly, um,
Yes.
people who have an interest in getting into a staffing industry, of potentially helping secure other folks' jobs, that is usually the first one to come out of recession, right? Because companies start to hire, they're the first to be able to provide their clients with good talent. So that's an industry where they come right out of it pretty quickly because the market turns on a little, and they're the first ones to help uh, find people new roles. So that's another avenue.
So you and I will be kept very busy once we come out the other side of this, right?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Absolutely. The healthcare technology space, like I said, as well as the staffing space, is a hot button, and it will absolutely be one right as this ends.
for sure. So with that being said, we're on LinkedIn all the time, looking
Absolutely.
at talent, trying to source roles. Can you give everyone out there some advice on how to maximize their LinkedIn presence?
The algorithm behind LinkedIn and how it was actually built is very similar to the other platforms we use day to day, the Facebooks, the Instagrams. And that's all about, as some people know, engaging with others and rising your engagement score. If you're able to take your engagement score and catapult it up, you will see people that are checking out your profile, or your LinkedIn profile rather, that haven't been in the past, right? So they may see something they're intrigued by on your profile, and now they're talking to you, you're in conversation. Whereas a couple months ago, if your engagement level wasn't up there, they're not even seeing your profile. Um, so there's certain ways we can go into that really get you to that next level of engagement. And if you do that the right way, you may be talking to the client who ends up hiring you before they ever posted a position, or they ever got your resume, which is totally the sweet spot. If you can get there, you're in a great spot. But it takes a lot of work to get your engagement level up.
I'm an advocate for asking for help and offering
Hmm.
help to others when it comes to career planning or career progression. And there are professionals in place that are here to help you, to help anyone kind of succeed in the workplace. Can
Sure.
you let us know the advantages of that?
Yeah. So it's nearly impossible to see yourself as as other people see you. Um, it's almost impossible. I've tried it in every which way, and I am very good at kind of helping people with that. But on the inside, it's what you're projecting outside is almost impossible. Like I said, to see how other people are seeing you. So you got to just kind of know that that's how we're built as humans. And so to better yourself and to really get to that next level, you have to kind of be able to engage someone. That could be a coach. That could be what you really want is someone who's not too close to you, family or friend. You want someone who will not really judge you, knowing what you're all about already. And that's why a lot of people see coaches. There's plenty of people you can use. You can use coaches. You can use, someone who's maybe not your closest friend, just to bounce ideas off. There are career centers you can go to. You can use a staffing agency if you connect with the right type of recruiter, someone who you feel is invested in your future. You need to be able to bounce these things off someone and kind of convey where you want to go and what your ideas about it are, and then just be a sponge. Listen, take what they have to say, see if you can reframe your own being and get yourself closer to where you want to go. But there's plenty of people. If you look for it, there's plenty of help out there for people looking to grow.
Awesome, awesome. And you kind of extended, our profession of recruiting into your
Yeah,
own business, in this
totally.
endless upside.
Hmm.
And I definitely can attest to how valuable career coaching is, and how valuable it is to have someone who is in the trenches, who is recruiting on a day to day,
Hmm.
give you feedback.
Yeah.
Anytime I get a candidate or reject a candidate, I never hesitate to give them a little bit extra advice on how to
Mhm.
revamp their resume, or how to uh, about their LinkedIn presence. So why don't you kind
Mhm.
of tell us a little bit about Endless Upside? Tell us about kind of the advantages of having you as a career coach.
Yeah. So you know, be it that I'm in the industry and the staffing side and I've grown up in that industry, I've always been in touch with folks and helped them grow, helped them secure new opportunities, helped make sure that they were fulfilled at, you know, within their roles currently. And if not, get them to the next level. Right. So um, that kind of has been the trajectory of my entire career as a professional. And, where that has taken me to is into the realm of coaching. And over the years, I've coached a number of high level technology leaders and, everyone from the highest level to someone who just got into the industry. And I was constantly coaching people off the cuff outside of work where they would ask me for advice. And I was, sharing the advice to get them to the next level. And what, happened over the years is I realized the advice I was giving was, helping people, and it was structured. It was, with goals in mind for them, and suggestive goals, really. What a coach doesn't do, and what I certainly don't do in my coaching practice, is force anyone into anything that they're not already interested in. Our goal as a coach is to guide you towards your ultimate goals. They're only going to work if they're your goals, not my goals. I'm not here to force you into anything because you'll never want it if it's mine. I'm not here to lead someone. I'm certainly here to keep someone's energy and eyes on the prize, and if they don't have those goals, help them frame them so that we can kind of see them and then work towards them. I'm also there for my clients on every level of accountability. And again, this goes back to human nature. Humans, we are not built to be fully accountable. Very few people in society, and we've talked about this, but very few people in society are accountable to themselves, especially when we're talking about goals. And that's the need for a coach, right? When I mentioned this to you, it's such a high level. I mean, the biggest goal every year is people want to lose weight. Everyone. I'm going to lose a couple pounds in the new year. I'm starting on January 1st. The average time people fall off for that is a week and a half to 2 weeks. The majority of society falls off. We're just not built as humans to fully stay on task. And it's okay to need someone to keep you accountable. That number skyrockets into the 60s, 60% if you have an accountability partner keeping you on task, whoever that partner is. Could be a coach, could be someone else, like we said. It skyrockets even further up to around 96%. If you have that goal, you have the accountability partner, and you're setting appointments with that accountability partner to check in and touch base. So just imagine people in 2 weeks giving up on any goal, personally or professionally, when they have the accountability partner or coach. My clients are able to get to that next level, get exactly what they're looking for, and then work on the next thing. That's the beauty of it. It doesn't have to stop for one thing. In conversation with my clients, we're constantly coming up with things that they're not seeing. And that's the beauty of a coaching relationship. It's, at Endless Upside, we find gaps that people don't see and are tripping over, right? They're tripping over them. They didn't even see it or realize they tripped on it, but it could be something that they might actually want to do or may actually want to take to the next level. So we spot those gaps. We hold people accountable, and we get them to those goals. So I love the coaching side. I equally love helping people on the staffing side just get what they want out of life, right?
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I couldn't have said it better myself.
I'm sure
Please.
you could have.
um, we're going to keep in touch. I definitely want to have another segment with you kind of after we come out of the end of COVID-19, just to
Hopefully
check
soon.
in and maybe share a little bit more insight and more tools with everyone here who is going to be tackling the workforce from there on.
Absolutely. Awesome. Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much, Michael.
All right, great. See you, Alex.
Bye.